Larry tried to kill me.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly disgusted.
I mean, think about it. Why does it make you special to do what you do?
Packers jumping around. They rush forward. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elway can run inside the 10. Head first. He dives off the 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
There's also Ryan Clady and Bob Miller. Third and long 3. Going deep. Oh, and he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown. Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him free to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Difference going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, truth, and of course, my comments. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, I would say welcome to Southern California, at least you know what most people think of it as, but it has been raining crazily. I mean, we've got temperatures down in the 30s. Never seen that before in a long time. Anyways, hope everyone's safe out there. Hope everyone's having a great Friday evening, wherever you may be. And Avatar, as always, thanks so much for being in the chat. Always appreciate it. What's up, Broncos country and Avalanche fanatics? Absolutely. And speaking of the Avalanche, I'm going to get right into it. Here it is. Avalanche comeback. If you guys did not, anybody out there who's an Avalanche fan, did not see Sunday's game, and I'm not just talking about the neighborhood, the Avalanche neighborhood. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual game, the comeback. The Avalanche trailed 3-0 in the first period and early second period, I believe. Then it was 3-1. Then it was 4-2. Then it was 5-3 late in the third period. And then the Avalanche tied it and forced overtime. And then this happened. With the game tied 5-5, 21 seconds left, Mikko Rantanen takes the puck from the right side of obviously inside the scoring, blue line, from the right circle all the way around to almost equal with the net, flips the puck up behind the goalie, game over. 21 seconds left in overtime before a shootout. Mikko Rantanen and the Avalanche win the game 6-5. To me, that was one of the best games, if not the best game that the Avalanche have played all year. I know they've won games 5-0, 7-0, whatever. I understand that. That's good. That's all well and good. Sometimes we need that kind of a game. But man, when you're down 3-0 and come back and win it at home 6-5 in overtime. Oh, did I mention it was against the Edmonton Oilers? the team that we're trying to catch in the standings. Yeah, that was huge. That was just okay. I just had to, I had to lead out with that. That's why I got the hat on. I had to lead with that because it was such a remarkable comeback. I mean, I never saw that happen. I really didn't. When we were down 3-0, I sit on the neighborhood. I said, this game's done. Avalanche don't look like they have a chance. Anyways, all right, I move on. Vance Joseph. That's right. Vance Joseph, the former head coach of the Denver Broncos, is now back with Denver. Now, before I get into actually reading this, I was not thrilled with sorry guys, just getting the second part of this article. I wasn't thrilled with Vance Joseph coming back to Denver. And I'll tell you why. Because I never like to see a head coach come back as something less. It's kind of like if you're a CEO of a company and you get fired, and then all of a sudden they want you to come back as, let's say, I don't know, a manager. Is it going to be easy for you to see what the CEO is doing and not want to make corrections? Of course, it's not going to be easy to not say anything. I know I certainly wouldn't. If I was a director of a company and then I get fired and then all of a sudden, a couple, 2 or 3 years later, they bring me back as wanting to be a manager. I'm not going to want to just sit there and see what the director's doing and not make comments. That's not what I'm going to want to do. So here it is. Former Broncos head coach is returning to Denver from the Arizona Cardinals. With the talent the Broncos have on defense, we're talking about Vance Joseph now. The talent the Broncos defense has, Joseph should have the Broncos not missing a heartbeat from Evero's scheme and system. Here's the problem. Evero's scheme and system, if that is what Sean Payton wanted, he would have kept him. Except that Evero wanted to be head coach. And because he is head coach in Houston, well, that wasn't going to happen. So he, meaning Sean Payton, had to turn to somebody who would implement the same type of scheme that Fangio set up, that Evero expanded into his own way of doing things. And now Vance Joseph is coming in. I continue. In Joseph's 4 seasons in Arizona, he coached big sack production from J.J. Watt, 12.5, Marcus Golden, 11, Hassan Reddick, 12.5, and Chandler Jones, 10.5. Now, if Vance Joseph can do that with those names, don't you think he can do that in Denver? Don't you think that Vance Joseph can coach up the Broncos linebackers, edge rushers, whatever it is, to get that kind of production? Arizona's defense wasn't that good last year. Sure, they had some quality players, and the guys I just named were not all on the same years. I'm just talking about the 4 years that Vance Joseph was there. He got that kind of production. He should be able to get that kind of production in Denver. The thing is what I stated earlier. Is Vance Joseph going to be able to not get in the ear of Sean Payton and say, hey, this is what I kind of learned. This is what No, I don't think so, because Sean Payton has light years, literally light years ahead of Vance Joseph when it comes to coaching. Sean Payton knows what it's like to go to a Super Bowl, to win a Super Bowl, to have championship teams, to have division winning teams, to have playoff winning teams. Vance Joseph knows nothing of that. So I don't think there's going to be a struggle or a power play. I really don't. Okay. Let me go on to some hirings by Sean Payton for this Broncos new season 2023. Ben Kotwicka. Who? Ben Kotwicka. Former Minnesota Vikings coach has been, hang on a second, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Former Minnesota Vikings coach has been hired by Sean Payton to be the Broncos' new special teams coach. Okay. Ben Kotwicka, new Broncos special teams coach. Why? Why did we not keep guy who was a Broncos? The guy wanted it. I can't think of his name now. Doggone it, passes me by. Frustrates me. Anyways, if we're why are we going out getting a new special team coach when we had one that has multiple seasons as a very, very strong special teams coach, who was our interim head coach the last 2 games? Why are we getting? And I understand he has new endeavors, and he has his own business, and he has a business partner, and that's all well and good. I understand that. Maybe he doesn't want the daily grind of what it takes to be a coach on any NFL team. It's not a 4-day work week, 2 days off. You don't get holidays off. You don't get, President's Day off and all that kind of stuff. No, you don't. Not at all. So maybe that's why he didn't want to do that. Okay, that's all well and good. I can appreciate that. But man, I've got some other news on here with guys that Sean Payton's hiring that really bothers me. It troubles me. It does. And I'll get into especially one when it comes to quarterback coach. We had Clint Kubiak as Wilson's quarterback coach. And apparently, Clint Kubiak learned from his dad, but the system just didn't work. I don't think Clint Kubiak's bad. Otherwise, why would he be going to San Francisco? If he was really horrible with Russell Wilson, why would he go to San Francisco and work with Brock Purdy or anybody else, Garoppolo or anybody else? Why? If he's that bad with Russell Wilson, who is seasoned, a Super Bowl champion, why would Clint Kubiak be requested or sought out by the San Francisco 49ers if he was that bad? No, he wasn't that bad. Why'd they get rid of Kubiak? Well, I'll get into the whole thing when it comes to quarterback coach, because this one really bugs. This one really bugs me. All right. Speaking of another no name as to this guy, to me, Dan Dalrymple, I'm going to say Dan Dalrymple, former strength and conditioning coach for the Saints, is joining Sean Payton again, this time for the Broncos. Strength and conditioning coach. Okay. Well, when he was in New Orleans, they didn't have that many injuries that I recall. I know a lot of it has to do with the way they work out and things like that. But, there has to be more to it when it comes to strength and conditioning. It has to be mental. It has to be physical. It has to be, how you, your plays and what's called, and your body has to be 100% in tune. And hopefully this new guy, Dan Dalrymple, I don't know anything about him. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't. I did some research. I mean, he's been with New Orleans. He's been with Sean Payton. He's just not a household name. So what I'm saying is, hopefully it comes in and things get straightened out. We cannot have these kind of injuries that we have had this past year. We can't. We've had season-ending injuries to Williams, to KJ Hamler, or I'm sorry, Tim Patrick. These injuries cannot keep going on and on. And something needs to change. Hopefully this guy can change things, can make things better for the overall team, for the overall health of the team. Because, it doesn't matter, how good Sean Payton can transform Russell Wilson back into a Pro Bowl player or a Super Bowl contending quarterback. Doesn't matter if you don't have players on the team to throw the ball to or hand the ball off to, or even offensive line or defense, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter one bit. And that's just the way it is. All right. Before I go on, I got some other guys. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to overlook you guys. Hey, Jeffy Casey, nice to have you in the house as always. Congratulations again on the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl. I know people talk about the pass interference. I'm not going down that road because it is what it is. Shouldn't have come down to that. But congratulations to Kansas City. Anyways, Avatar. I know I got the game on my TV right here. I'm not watching it until later on. I can't record it. But thanks for the update. I appreciate it. This is a must win. We have to win at least half, if not 2/3 of our remaining games to make sure that we make the playoffs. Thank goodness Avalanche ahead 1-0. Thanks a lot, Avatar. Appreciate it. Ray, you're in the house. Hey, what's going on, Ray? Hey, you said, hey, Bill. I said, hey, Ray, what's happening? Glad to have you in the house as always. Comment also from you, Ray. The strength guy has won awards of the highest perennial level. He should be a damn sight better than the last guy. I agree. I sure hope that's correct. Because we can't continually go on with guys that barely move or something and then they tear an ACL or they go down with a hamstring or a high ankle sprain. These things have to stop. I know it's awful hard to stop concussions because that's usually, somebody else hitting, the helmet, the side of the head, somewhere around there to cause a concussion. But when it's non-contact related, like what happened with Tim Patrick, that's just a freak accident. Or is it a strength and conditioning issue? Hopefully, Ray, you're correct that this guy's going to be much better. So that's exactly what I'm hoping. All right, let's go to Clayton Huron. Hey, nice to have you in the house. Evening back to you. Hope everything's well with you, and thanks for so much for chiming in on the chat and being a part of the show. Appreciate it. Avatar, love it. Keep it coming, man. 2-1 Avalanche. Boy, that was fast. It was 1-0. Then I'm assuming, I don't know, that it may be 1-1 and now 2-1 Avs. All right, keep it going. This is going to be a shootout game, especially in the first period. All right. Clayton says, we are slowly putting our coaching staff together. What do you think so far? And I tell you what, guys, Russ is going to come back and be a key player of the year. Thoughts? What do I think so far of the coaching staff? I'm getting into some of that as we speak. I mentioned, who did I mention? I mentioned, here are the two guys I mentioned. I mentioned Ben Kotwicki, former Vikings coach, has been hired to be special teams, as well as Dan Dalrymple is strength and conditioning coach. He's from the Saints. What do I think? At this point in time, I really don't know. I don't know because I haven't seen this coaching staff with this Broncos team as a unit on the field conducting, plays or schemes or whatever. Now I know that the strength and conditioning coach as well as special teams coach. We're only going to be able to see the special teams coach the way he teaches and how the players adapt to it and whatnot. We're only going to be able to see that come preseason / regular season. Strength and conditioning is what I want to see right away. I don't want to see these guys injured anymore. I'm sick and tired of key players going down and a whole season's lost because we don't have the players that this team is built on. We didn't have it last year. Now, I'm not putting all the blame on the fact that we didn't have key players. So there's a whole lot of other issues. I'm not going down that road again. But we all know that last year was a train wreck, big time. And now we've turned the page and we're moving forward. Let's hope. And to go back to the second part of your question, which is Russ going to be a comeback player of the year? I don't know if he'll be comeback player of the year, but I will say this, Clayton, he's not going to be any worse than he was. Absolutely not going to be any worse than he was, because first and foremost, Sean Payton isn't going to allow it. He's not going to run the kind of system that Trainwreck Hackett did. He's not going to implode this team like Hackett and his coaching staff did. He's not going to do that. He is head and shoulders, light years ahead of Hackett in what he knows what to do and how to do it. Remember, he took Drew Brees, who the Chargers thought, he's got that injured arm. He's not going to be able to come back and play. Oh, really? Until he got with Sean Payton. And guess what? Super Bowl champion. Can that happen with the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Here's the flip side of that. The flip side is Russell Wilson going to be Russell Wilson? Like we saw in the last two games last season. Kansas City and San Diego. Kansas City and LA. Russell Wilson was Russell Wilson. And I firmly believe that Sean Payton is going to get the best out of Russell Wilson. Otherwise, why would he come to Denver? Why would he come to Denver if he didn't feel that he could turn this team around, this quarterback around, and make Broncos country proud again to wear the orange and blue? I've never taken my orange and blue off. I know a lot of people have, but I never have. And I never will. That's my team. But I'm talking in general. The bubble fan base that shouldn't be bubble. They should be hardcore, but I can't speak for everybody. Anyways, okay. Clayton, you nailed it right there. Smash that like button and share as well, guys. Absolutely. Share this show, share the other shows on the MHRT network, whatever you got to do. But smash the like button and support this channel with all the shows that we have. Appreciate it. Thanks, Clayton, for your support always. All right. I move on. Joe Lombardi. Per Mike Kliss of 9 News Denver, Denver Broncos are hiring Joe Lombardi as their offensive coordinator. This will be Lombardi's third assistant coaching stint with Sean Payton. Lombardi was formerly with the Chargers as their offensive coordinator last season. Do I like this? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because Joe Lombardi was the offensive coordinator for the Chargers when they blew that 27-point lead against Jacksonville in the playoffs and lost. Could only manage 3 points in the second half and lost the game. Is that the kind of Joe Lombardi the Broncos are going to get? Let's say the Broncos are ahead 28-3. Are we going to lose it 31-28? Why not? Chargers lost it. I know some people say, well, Joe Lombardi wasn't really calling the plays. How do I know? You're the offensive coordinator. You should be calling the plays. I don't think Sean Payton's going to be calling the plays. And if he does, and he blows a 28-3 lead, that ain't good either. I just have my concerns when it comes from a person who allowed that time of implosion. You're up 27 points and you lose? Seriously? Wow. I know that Denver has blown a 24-point lead before. 27 in a playoff game when everything is on the line. I understand during the regular season things happen, and you got more than one game to play. I get in the playoffs with everything on the line. You lose after leading by 27 points. I have my reservations when it comes to Joe Lombardi. And I know some people say it's because I have the hatred for the Chargers. Well, that's maybe part of it, but not really. I mean, it comes down to how he was, how he did as an offensive coordinator. And yes, maybe they did well during the season. But like I said before, you've got a plethora of games to play. You got 17 games. You can have an up and a down and maybe a couple of ups and you continue ups and then you have a down. In the playoffs, you don't have that. You have one game only for that day, for that week. I'm just saying. I just have my reservations is all I'm saying. Okay. Avatar, man, you're making me miss one of the best first periods ever, man. 3-1 Avs. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. But I can always go back and watch the highlight, so it's good. But appreciate the update. This is a must game. We have to beat teams from here on out. No doubt about it. Clayton, love the passion you have, man. Love the passion you have. Absolutely, Clayton. Love it. Nope. Ride or die. Broncos fan for life. That's exactly how I am. Exactly how I am. Orange and blue. In fact, when I bleed, some people look at me and go, holy smokes, that's different. I bleed orange and blue, not red, orange and blue. Anyways, okay, I move on. Davis Webb. Oh, I'm telling you, this is crazy. This is crazy. According to Adam Schefter, NFL veteran quarterback Davis Webb, who spent last season backing up Daniel Jones on the New York Giants, is being hired as the Denver Broncos. Holy smokes. Is being hired as the Denver Broncos quarterbacks coach. Wait a minute. Stop for a second. Wait a minute. A backup quarterback is going to be the Broncos quarterbacks coach to Russell Wilson? Oh, this has to be a mistake. This absolutely has. This is from Adam Schefter. I value what Adam Schefter has to say. I don't value what Adam Schefter had to say as a joke or a farce or an April Fool's joke, because we're not even in April yet. Adam Schefter is reporting. Let me say this again. This is mind-boggling, and I'll tell you why. Adam Schefter reports, and I say, and I read, NFL veteran quarterback Davis Webb, who spent last season backing up Daniel Jones on the New York Giants, is being hired by the Denver Broncos as their quarterback's coach. The 28-year-old Webb will now be coaching the 34-year-old Wilson in his not fourth or fifth season, not 10 years or whatever. No. It said he was a backup last year. So what does that mean? That means he will be coaching Russell Wilson in his first NFL coaching job. What the heck? No. No, you cannot be serious. You cannot be serious. What in heaven's name is Sean Payton thinking? This guy is a backup quarterback to Daniel Jones of the Giants. And he's going to be the quarterback coach to Russell Wilson? Hang on, guys. Let's put this in perspective. Let me put this in perspective. Yes, I'm emphasizing it because I am frustrated with this. This is a stupid move. Absolutely, as I see it, a ridiculously stupid move. Russell Wilson is a seasoned veteran. He has won a Super Bowl. He has been to many Pro Bowls. What in heaven's name can this young kid teach Russell Wilson that he doesn't already know? What? How to be a backup? I don't get it. This was mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. Okay, let me put a different spin on it. You let Clint Kubiak walk and go to the 49ers, where Clint Kubiak knows his stuff. He knows what quarterbacks need. He learned it from his dad. Hello, Gary Kubiak, Super Bowl champion, Denver Broncos. And you let Clint Kubiak walk and go to the 49ers. And you bring in a 28-year-old backup quarterback kid to be Russell Wilson's quarterback coach? Holy crap. Are you stupid? I am shocked. Absolutely shocked at that. There is no way. There is no way I ever saw this coming. Ever saw this coming. I don't know. I just don't know how this is going to work out. I really don't. Because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, what's a 28-year-old going to teach a 34-year-old? Especially when it comes to being a quarterback. And this guy has never, Davis Webb. He never been to a Super Bowl. He's never won a Super Bowl. He never even been to play. I don't think he's ever played a game. Maybe one or two insignificant ones, but not meaningful ones. Wow. I am totally stunned. Totally stunned by that. Absolutely. All right. Ray says, that's the trend these days, Bill. Get the young guy and hope you have the next hot shot. I don't know, man. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I don't figure this one out. I can't figure this one out. I can't. I know it's a new guy, the up and coming, but what is this kid gonna teach Russell Wilson what to do? He's been a backup, for heaven's sakes. I can understand if you brought in a Joe Montana or a John Elway or a Peyton Manning. Yeah, then maybe you could teach him something. A 28-year-old backup quarterback who's been to no major games. What's he going to teach him? Hey, Russell, maybe next year you can be the backup. Then maybe I can be the starter. That's what you're going to teach him? God, I don't know, man. I don't know. Frustrating. But this is not frustrating. That is not frustrating. 4-1 Avalanche. Love it. Keep it coming, Avatar. And thanks for watching the Avalanche game and also chiming in on the chat. I really do appreciate it. Absolutely. Appreciate it. All right. Ray, I didn't. Hopefully I didn't indicate that you said you liked it. I know it's a trend, but I just don't like the trend. I don't think it's productive. Like I said, I could beat it till I'm blue in the face. I don't know. I hope it works out. I don't know if it's going to work out. I have no idea if it's going to work out, but maybe. I mean, obviously Sean Payton sees something in him at 28 years old that can help Russell Wilson. I'm just not sure what that is. All right. Let's go to Zach Azzanni. Now, I mentioned last week on my show that Zach Azzanni was was a Broncos wide receiver coach last year. And he was being interviewed by the New York Jets. Well, here's the update. Per Mike Kliss of 9 News, Zach Azzanni is headed to the New York Jets as their new wide receiver coach. Azzanni was the Broncos wide receiver coach for the past 6 seasons. Azzanni was very productive in developing the Broncos receivers. Now he takes that same production to the Jets. Am I happy? No, not at all. I mean, he spent 6 seasons with the Denver Broncos. Do you realize, guys, that doesn't mean just, the past several years and one head coach only. No, that was under last 6 season. That was under Fangio. That was under Joseph. And that was under Hackett. If he could do that well with the wide receivers, with that pathetic, horrible head coaching that we had on this team, and got that really good production from our wide receivers, why would he leave? Why? Because Sean Payton wants to bring in his own guys, which I understand, but I don't agree with. I don't agree with something. If it's not broken, don't frickin' fix it. And the wide receivers were not broken. They weren't. Sure, there were misplays and stuff, but that had to do with Hackett's play calling, pathetic play calling. Had nothing to do with the wide receivers. I know some of you out there may disagree with me, and that's all well and good. We all have our opinions. I personally don't feel that Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy, well, we also saw that Jerry Jeudy was very productive in the last couple of games. Why? Because Hackett wasn't there. That's my point. Azzani was. Why let a guy like that go when he's that productive and gets the best out of his receivers? Why? You watch the New York Jets now, especially, there's rumors now that the Jets may go after Aaron Rodgers. So if Aaron Rodgers is on the Jets and you have Azzani as a wide receivers coach, don't be surprised if the Jets win that division. I know Bills country or Bills, whatever they call them, Bills fanatics or Bills freaks or whatever. They're not going to want me to say that, but I'm just saying, if Azzani does what in New York with the Jets, as he did with the Broncos receivers, that team's going to be dangerous, especially if they land an Aaron Rodgers, even if it's only for 1 year. Just saying, guys. Just saying. I don't like the fact that new coaches come in and they totally just overhaul a system. Yes, they may have different ideas and whatnot, but if something is working, don't freaking change it. Now the Broncos receivers have a totally new coach. Why? I don't like this turnstile. Around. I don't like it. Keep coaches that are productive, that get the job done. Yes, we had to get rid of Hackett because he sucked. And we had to get rid of Fangio and Joseph as head coaches because they both sucked. And they're both not head coaches anymore. Don't change something that works. Plain and simple. Don't change something that works. A la Clint Kubiak, quarterback's coach, and Azzani. That's what bothers me. Get a new head coach, and he wants to bring in all his cronies. I understand that. I can totally understand it. Sometimes you just have to stick with what works. And apparently, they didn't like Azzani after 6 really good seasons with wide receivers. Just saying goodbye. Oh, man. I don't like it. I absolutely don't like it. Let's see. Ray says, really, production is what they're calling that? Yes, they're calling that production. And, I mean, what can I say? Okay, let me go back to what you were saying there, Ray. You're talking about that they had production from wide receivers. Yes, they did. There were some really good plays by wide receivers. However, in the overall scheme of things, you're correct. It wasn't productive, but that was play calling, in my opinion. That was play calling. That was Hackett. If you saw the last 2 games, which I'm pretty sure you did, the wide receiver production was much better. Why? Because Hackett wasn't there calling the plays. He wasn't. It was Rosberg. No, I take it back. It was Alton. Alton was calling the plays. The offensive coordinator was calling the plays. It wasn't anybody else. It wasn't Hackett for sure. And then if I was calling the plays and Azani is getting the best out of his receivers to run the routes and do what they need to do, then yes, that is productive. And I think that's what he's talking about. And then you go back several years and it was still productive. We didn't win a whole lot of games, but again, that's not all on the receivers. It's on a plethora of things. All right. Let's see. Ray says, why do I see big-time receivers having big years with backup quarterbacks, but not the Broncos? Whew. Wow, Ray. That's something I hadn't thought about. What do you mean? But not the Broncos. So you're saying that you said, why do I see big-time receivers having big years with backup quarterbacks? Who are you referring to? You're referring to former Bronco receivers with backup quarterbacks on other teams, or what are you referring to? Just curious. Okay. Ray, you disagree. Okay. You got the right to disagree. He says, I disagree, Bill. Azani is no great loss. Okay. Again, why do you say that? You don't think that he got the best out of Jerry Jeudy when he moved him from the inside slot to the outside, where now he's man on man instead of double covered? I thought that was a great move. And he was more productive in the wide receiver position than he was in the slot. So, I don't know. Again, this is the entire offseason. And just like last year, we have a whole lot of Bronco news to talk about because we have a new coaching staff, new everything going on. We don't have as much as last year because we already have a new owner and all that, but we still have a lot of Bronco news off the field. But I guess I really won't know until the season starts, preseason starts. Thank goodness the regulars are going to play in the preseason per Sean Payton stating that. Thank goodness, because that was a total travesty last year, not playing any of the starters. That was stupid. That was another Hackett retard move. All right. Let's see. Ray says it's not just Hackett. We've been dealing with subpar production for the wide receivers for years. Okay. All right. I'll give you that. But does it also go back to game planning? Doesn't it also go back to who the quarterback was at the time? A non-franchise quarterback, a non-elite quarterback type of thing. Play calling. There's a whole lot of different things. But yes, I will agree with that yes, it was less productive in past years. All right. Let's go to a top-notch player being released by a former Super Bowl champion. The Los Angeles Rams are releasing Bobby Wagner after just one season. Wagner, who's 32, had team high in production with 140 tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 interceptions last season. He also is a 6-time All-Pro linebacker. Do the Denver Broncos do whatever they have to do to sign Bobby Wagner? That's my question to you guys in the chat. What do you think? I say, well, I'll say it in a few minutes. Bobby Wagner, to me, is a very, very high elite linebacker with 140 tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 interceptions in just 1 year with a very pathetic LA Rams team after coming off a Super Bowl championship. Wouldn't he be great in Denver? And I know I've heard from some people saying that, well, that means that we won't have Josie Jewell or we won't have Singleton. That's not necessarily the case. Why would you not, especially in a 3-4 defense that the Broncos are going to be running this coming year, like they did last year? In a 3-4 defense, you can have 4 linebackers. Why not have Singleton, Jewell, and Bobby Wagner, along with whoever else you want to plug in there? Why not? Why not have 4 linebackers, especially somebody like a Bobby Wagner who can rush the passer, who can fill up the gap in the middle, who can stop a run? Do you remember, guys, what I just said? He has 140 tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 interceptions. He's a linebacker. That is phenomenal. I say sign a Bobby Wagner. Whatever you got to do, sign a Bobby Wagner. I know I'm not going to be popular when I say that, because there's a lot of people out there, including, people that I talk to all the time, that say, no, he's too expensive, blah, blah. Well, make it work. The Rams are going to have to pick up some of that money. No doubt about it. They're going to have to pick up some of his salary. Why not get him to come to Denver under Sean Payton? Come on. He was in Seattle with Pete Carroll, who is nowhere close to a Sean Payton when it comes to head coaching genius, in my opinion. I can't stand Pete Carroll. I think the guy's a jerk. But anyways, Sean Payton, if you can play for a Sean Payton and you're Bobby Wagner, why would you not be going like this? Hello, Dove Valley. Hello, what's it going to take for me to come to be a Denver Bronco linebacker? I'll do whatever it takes. Why wouldn't you? You're playing with your former quarterback in Russell Wilson. You've got a sure Hall of Fame coach in Sean Payton. You've got an ownership group in Rob Walton. Walton Penner ownership group that's got money coming out the, you know what? Why in heaven's name would you not want to come to Denver? When Peyton Manning was here, he brought in many people because of the fact he was Peyton Manning. Well, people thought that when we got Russell Wilson. Well, that didn't really happen, but now we got Sean Payton. I say let's sign Bobby Wagner. Why not? Even if it's for 1 year with a 2-year option. Why not? We need to turn this team around, and we can do it in a microsecond if we get key players to come to Denver, because we do have a Russell Wilson, and we do have a Sean Payton, and we do have wide receivers, and we do have a solid defense. Why the heck not? Would you not be banging the door down at Dove Valley and saying, pull out the pull out the contract. I'll sign it now. I don't care what it is. I know he's probably not going to sign for pennies on the dollar. I'm not saying that. But I am saying whatever it takes to get a Bobby Wagner, why not? He's 32. Maybe he's a little over his prime, but he still has it. He still has it. So why not? Why not? That's the question. Is it money? Is it salary cap? Is it the fact that the Broncos may lose a player here and there? I don't even see why that would happen. Move pieces around, move this guy here and that, whatever you got to do, but get it done. Why not? This defense is already solid. Make it elite. Make it better than it is. I mean, wow. An opportunity when the Rams are getting rid of this guy, when he had the most of everything I just said on the Rams this past year, 140 tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 interceptions, the most by any Ram player in the season all year. Bring that to Denver. We could definitely use that. Absolutely, we could. Okay. Let's go to hey, Kamani. Welcome to the chat, man. Glad to have you in the house. Bill, I'm not impressed with our new quarterback coach. I'm not either. Why would you have a 28-year-old backup quarterback on the Giants, never played in a meaningful game like a Super Bowl or a playoff or anything like that? Why would you want him as Wilson's quarterback coach? To me, that is stupid. And I'm not saying that Sean Payton is all of a sudden dumb or, lost his way or wits about him. I'm not saying that. I don't know why he would want him. I have no clue in my mind why he would want him over Clint Kubiak. I don't get it. I'm not impressed at all. I don't like that move. Absolutely do not like that move. You know what? I'm going to go on a limb and say something, and I probably could be, out of character or out of touch or whatever. But I dare say it's going to be very, very hard pressed for me to believe that a 34-year-old Russell Wilson is going to take advice from a 28-year-old kid. Seriously. I know I wouldn't. I would look at him and say, well, hey, what have you done? That's like me in my job. Okay. In my job, I'm retired now, but in my past job, if I had somebody come up there going, hey, I know how to do this better, blah, blah, blah. All right, show me. No, that isn't better. That isn't anywhere close to being better. I wouldn't take any advice for somebody younger than me that hasn't done what I've done and is telling me how to do it and to do it better. No, that is not going to go over easy with Russell Wilson. I don't think so. I may be totally 100% wrong, but I don't think and feel that a 28-year-old kid is going to make a big difference in a 34-year-old Russell Wilson when he's done it all of these years, 11 years now, 10 with Seattle, 1 with Denver, 11 years, multiple playoff games, and a Super Bowl championship from a kid, and I say kid, that has never been in that situation. What in heaven's name is Russell Wilson going to learn from that guy? I don't think he's going to learn anything. I think that was a horrible, horrible choice by Sean Payton. And I know I may be ridiculed, and I know that, down the road during the regular season, I may be proven wrong. I hope I am. But as I sit here right now on February 24th, on a Friday, 2023, I don't see this being anything in the right direction to help a Russell Wilson. All right. Let's see. We go to Ray. Ray says Peyton will be running this offense. He'll be working closely with Russ. The young guy is there to learn under special teams. Not special teams. SP. What is that? SP. Okay. And Russ. Sean Payton. Duh. Sorry. SP. I'm like, who the heck is SP? Okay. You're right. He is there to learn under. But then again, why would he be a quarterback coach if he's not really going to be doing anything but learning? Isn't that on-the-job training? You're going to pay a guy like that just to be on-the-job training? Well, I guess that's how everybody learns. But I don't know. It just seems strange. Maybe Sean Payton sees something in this kid. Maybe he does see something in this kid that will allow him to be better down the road, or even the next year or two, to actually take over being a really good quarterbacks coach. I don't know. Maybe that's Sean Payton's way of doing things, about, taking somebody under his wing and, umbrella kind of thing, and putting his arm around him, saying, hey, come on, buddy, I'll bring you along. I'll teach you what I know. And hopefully you can climb the ladder. I'm not sure at all. Come on, you had to go down that road, didn't you, man? You had to go down that road. Whoever made that hire needs a box of Ting Tops. For those of you who missed a neighborhood show and all that a while, two or three back, you may want to go refresh yourself. I'm not going to bring that story back in. You guys want to find it, go back and watch the neighborhood. It is one of my stories that I'll never live down. That's for sure. I'll never live down. Good call, Kamani. Good call. All right. Taylor Lewan. With Denver needing help on the offensive line, could newly released Taylor Lewan of the Titans be someone the Broncos should pick up? Lewan spent the past 9 seasons with Tennessee and is now evaluating whether or not he wants to play for a new team or he wants to retire. This guy is good. Why the Titans released him, I have no idea. No idea. Maybe he wanted too much money. Maybe they wanted to go into a different direction, maybe a younger guy, but the Broncos need offensive line help. Desperately need offensive line help. This guy is a guard. He could totally fit in. I say absolutely sign this guy. Problem is him. Does he want to play for another team? Some players don't. Some players say, hey, you know what? I love, whoever team I'm on. I love the Titans. I love the Broncos. I love whomever. I don't want to play for any other team but the Titans or any other team but the Broncos, whatever the case may be. Does he want to come back and play another year or 2 or 3 if it's not with Tennessee Titans? That's the decision he's going to make. However, if Denver throws out the green money and says, hey, we'll sign you for 2 years with a third-year option, and we'll give you this amount of money, and we'll sign you for this bonus. And, oh, by the way, if you have this, that, and the other, there's bonus money thrown in. Why wouldn't you take that offer? Remember, guys, Sean Payton is the head coach of the Denver Broncos. There is a lot of pull from that head coach to draw players in. Is it possible that Denver could land this guy, Taylor Lewan? Absolutely it is. It all comes down to whether or not he wants to play for another team outside of it being Tennessee. That's the issue. That's the issue right there. Okay. Terrell Davis. Now, this is going to get me into my last segment, but this is not the last segment. This is the next to last segment. Here it is. Terrell Davis. Broncos legend Terrell Davis says Denver hired the right man to be the Broncos' new head coach. Davis said, and I quote, I'm 100% bought in on Sean Payton. End quote. Davis also said he is blown away by Patton's coaching resume. He feels Payton will quickly turn the Broncos and Wilson in the right direction. Okay, I agree. But I only agree under one solid point, and that is this. Will Russell Wilson learn and listen under Sean Payton? Or will Russell Wilson still want to do his own thing? Remember, he's not going to have his own office anymore. He's not going to have his own entourage on the field anymore. It's going to be completely different. But he's going to have to adjust, and he's going to have to adapt to what Sean Payton wants to do. Because Sean Payton is a proven winner. Hackett wasn't. Hackett was a puppet. Hackett was a spineless head coach. Had no idea what he was doing. Allowed Russell Wilson to basically run the entire team. And Russell Wilson did. Right in the ground. And I'm not saying it's all Russell Wilson's fault, but when you have a plane that's flying this way and you have no idea how to control it, what's it going to do? It's going to spiral downhill and crash and burn. It's exactly what happened to the Broncos last year. But according to Terrell Davis, who should know, because he played under a Mike Shanahan type of team, which is the same type of team that a Sean Payton's going to run. Very strict, very precise, very organized. And guess what? If you don't want to be on the Broncos, you're not going to be. Because it's like he said before, this Broncos team is not going to be for everyone. And he means it. He absolutely means it. And that's the exact same thing that a Mike Shanahan got with Terrell Davis and all the other Bronco players. And that's why they won back-to-back Super Bowl 32 and 33. They also had that same type under a Gary Kubiak in Super Bowl 50. That same year, 2015, exact same way. Dedicated, determined, and one goal only. And that is to win the Super Bowl. And they did. All right. I thoroughly agree with Terrell Davis. I think it's going to turn around. I don't know if it's going to be in week 2 or 3, but I know that the Broncos are not going to win just 5 games. That is not going to happen. And like I said in my previous shows, when it gets closer to the preseason, I will give you what I feel the prediction will be for the Broncos win-loss record. All right, I move on. Let's go to an ESPN report. And this is interesting. Very, very interesting on a couple of different levels. And here it is. ESPN is reporting that Russell Wilson pushed to have Pete Carroll and John Snyder fired before his departure to Denver. Now, Pete Carroll is the head coach of Seattle, and John Snyder is their general manager. I continue. According to the report, Wilson asked Seahawks owner in what? I can't even read my own writing. I'm sorry. Let me go back. According to report, Wilson asked Seahawks owner in February of 2022 to fire Pete Carroll and John Snyder with hopes that the team would hire who? That's right, Sean Payton to be Seattle's next head coach. Wilson has since denied this report, saying, and I quote, "Carroll was a father figure to me, and that Snyder believed in me and drafted me as well," end quote. Wilson's attorney has disputed the report, calling it entirely fabricated. Okay. Notice what he mentioned in his quote. He was hoping that they would fire Pete Carroll and John Snyder so that the Seattle Seahawks ownership would then hire Sean Payton. Russell Wilson reached out to Sean Payton via Twitter or phone call or whatever he did to get the Broncos in hopes that Sean Payton would be interested in the Broncos hiring him. And the deal was done. Sean Payton is now the Broncos head coach. We all know that. But going back to this report of last year, if that is actually true and is being denied by Russell Wilson immediately and his attorney, but if that is actually fact, and ESPN's reporting it, so they must have some type of inside information that is true. If that's true, then that means Russell Wilson wanted Sean Payton all along. And he finally got Sean Payton after he reached out, and the Broncos did hire him. But that is interesting. Like I said, if that is a fact, and I'm only reporting it because it was ESPN putting it out. If it was anybody else, I probably wouldn't. But I believe that ESPN is very trustworthy and reliable on their sources. So that being said, if that's the case, then Russell Wilson has his guy as head coach, and definitely things should be better with the Broncos organization moving forward. This is going to be very interesting to see where this goes and how it comes out down the road. If it even takes any legs and gets any type of notoriety or any more talk about within the media, I'm not sure. Maybe he will, maybe it won't. I don't know. But it's interesting that if he said that or wanted that to happen, that it'd be very interesting to note that he wanted Sean Payton in Seattle, and now he has Sean Payton in Denver. That is very interesting to me because of how it all played out. I'm not sure, how things are going to be with Sean Payton, but if Russell Wilson wanted him in Seattle and was willing to go to ownership and say, "Hey, I want Pete Carroll gone, I want John Snyder gone, and then I want you to hire Sean Payton." Wow. And now Sean Payton is in Denver. Let's hope and let's just, look towards the new NFL season in hopes that the Denver Broncos can win at least 10 games or more and get to the playoffs, and things will be much better in Broncos country. That's what I'm hoping. All right. Okay, I'm back. Avatar says, okay, I'm back. 4-1 Avalanche, end of the first. All right, good. I'm not missing too much. I missed 4 goals or 5 goals, actually, but I missed 4 by the Avalanche. But it's okay. It's okay. I know I'm going to get the second and third period at some point in time here. All right. This is the last segment. I'm going to go with something, something different, something, more lighthearted, so to speak, to wrap up this show. Thanks, guys, for everybody in the chat and watching, for all your support. And here it is. Number one selling jersey of the Denver Broncos. Of the top 5 jerseys of the Denver Broncos that are most popular are these. Number one, Russell Wilson, 3 times more than anyone else on the Denver Broncos. Is that because it's Russell Wilson? Is that because it's, it's a quarterback, and most quarterbacks do garnish, the most jerseys being bought? I think it's a combination of both. Russell Wilson and the fact that he's quarterback. All right, number 2, a little surprise to me. Number 2 is a little surprise. Number 2 most sold Broncos jersey, Pat Surtain. Well, I guess maybe it should surprise me because he is very elite corner for the Broncos. I mean, he made the Pro Bowl. He's a shutdown corner, very much along the lines of a Champ Bailey. So, yeah, I can kind of see that. Okay, number 3 most sold Bronco jersey, Justin Simmons. I would agree with that. Justin Simmons, absolutely. No doubt about it. Awesome safety. One of the best in the entire league. Yeah, definitely. Would I flip Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain? Maybe, possibly, yeah. Justin Simmons has been around longer on the Broncos. But then again, you cannot say anything bad about Pat Surtain. Not at all. Number 4 most bought Bronco jersey, Javonte Williams. I understand that too, Javonte Williams. But then again, it was only his rookie year, and he still garnished the 4th most purchased Broncos jersey. That's a little surprising because he didn't play at all last year. He couldn't. He had a torn ACL, MCL, and every other ACL or any other CL that was out there, I guess. I mean, he just got tore up, was gone the entire season. So does that surprise me? Yes, but I think a lot of it is based on what he did in his rookie year. Absolutely. Number 5 is a total surprise to me, and here's why. Number 5 most purchased Bronco jersey, Courtland Sutton. Really? Over Jerry Jeudy? I'm surprised. Over a Jerry Jeudy or a Tim Patrick. Really? Or KJ Hamler. I'm really surprised. Courtland Sutton didn't really do that much last year, but maybe it's based on years previous. I don't know, but that one surprised me. Courtland Sutton being the 5th most purchased Bronco jersey in the top 5. I'm shocked. I thought for sure it would probably be Jerry Jeudy after what he's done. And I know Jeudy had his drops and he had his issues in the season. And I know that Courtland Sutton had some big games, in previous years. Okay, maybe that's the reason. Maybe they like the number. Maybe they like number 14 more than they like number 10. Or was it the other way around? Courtland, I get those numbers mixed up. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I'm just surprised. So that wraps up tonight's show, guys. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Avatar says I added 3 jerseys to my collection. Excuse me, to your collection of what, 150 that you already got, Avatar? Something like that, which is awesome, which is totally awesome. He says, I added 3 jerseys to my collection to put my collection, 96. Okay, I was a little bit higher than that. Wilson, Surtain, and Miners. Wilson, okay, that's the number 1, like I mentioned. Surtain, number 2. Miners was not on the top 5 list, but that's a good jersey to have. Way to go, Avatar. 96. Holy crap. I thought I had a lot. And I've got like what? 1, 2. I think I got 7 or 8. And I mean, that seems like a drop in the butt. Seems like something you buy, Avatar, every week. 6 or 7 jerseys. So I'm in honor of you, Avatar. I mean, you're like the king of jerseys, man. The king of jerseys. Love it. Love it. Love it. Hey, you know what, Avatar? Think about it. Hang on to that. Hang on to those because you can definitely hang on to those, and they may be a collector's item down the road. And you can get bank on those if you want to part with them. I mean, who knows? Absolutely, who knows? Anyways, guys, that's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. For those of you in chat, thank you so much for being in here. As always, you got Avatar. Of course, you got Jeffy KC. Thanks for being in the house. You got Ray. You got Clayton Haran. Appreciate you guys being in here. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for, your support as always. Much appreciate. Kamani, always love having you in the house. And you guys, you're my strongest support. I want you guys to really know that you really are. You make the show the best it can be. And I just feed off of your guys' energy and your passion, your comments. It's just great to do this once a week, twice a week. Well, in that neighborhood, if I'm talking about this show, it's just great to welcome you into my den each and every Friday and to talk sports and Broncos. Thanks again, guys, so much. You are the backbone to this show, and I mean that sincerely, absolutely sincerely. Avatar says you've been buying those jerseys for 30 years. Well, I mean, I guess I should have been buying them for 30 years as well, but I haven't. I don't know. I guess I just pick and choose certain guys. Terrell Davis, John Elway, John Lynch, Peyton Manning, Von Miller, that kind of thing. So, I just pick and choose, but I commend you, Avatar. That's awesome. Kamani says, I believe Kamani is saying that the Broncos are going to go 11-6 next year. I hope they do. Absolutely hope they do. I will give my predictions once the preseason gets underway. But I do like that number. 11-6. Absolutely. Kamani says, Avatar, do you pay any bills? That is classic. That is absolutely classic. Maybe he doesn't. And if he doesn't, then more power to him, man. That's good stuff. I love it. Yeah. Ding dong. I get it. It's all good, man. It's all good. Again, guys, thanks so much for being in the chat. Thanks so much for your support. Hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, I know everybody in the chat here most definitely has. Appreciate it. Before I get out of here, let me get real quick to the shows that are coming up on Monday. On Monday night, we're going to be doing the Avalanche Neighborhood. Madungus Creevy and myself are going to be doing the Avalanche Neighborhood. It's going to be the Avalanche at home against the Vegas Knights. That is going to be a 7 o'clock Pacific time. And that's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Hope to see you in the chat as well, and as always. And then on that's Monday. And then also on Monday is going to be the Cluster Puck. That's going to go off live every 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that is with Nick and Britt. They talk everything Avalanche. Then on Tuesday, you got the 5280 podcast. And that is followed by the No Nonsense and Whiskey. That follows the 5280 podcast, which goes live every 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that's on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we have the Wild Wild West. That is live every 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. That features a fan from every AFC West team, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. They will be talking about off-season issues, dealing with all 4 of the teams in the AFC West. Don't miss it. It's a great show. And then on Friday, this show, once again, Broncos Breakdown with me, your host, Bronco Bill, will be live every on Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Until then, guys, please have a wonderful, safe Friday night and a wonderful weekend. And we will hopefully see you guys, all of you, in the chat on Monday for the Avalanche Neighborhood, which goes again live at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Until then, guys, take care. We will talk to you then. Bye-bye.